What is up, everybody? So today's video, I'm going to show you a few things and hopefully get the car ready to not look like that. Camera doesn't really want to focus. Let's see. Not look like that because it's kind of a two-tone multi-color thing right now. But let me switch this camera around, show you guys a few things that are going on right now. So here's it in its current state. The car's now plated actually, so it's even though it's ugly, it is legit. And what did I want to show you guys? Check this out. So the car's been sitting outside, but these hood gaps used to line up, and I don't know if the heat out here is playing a factor in it, but the hood gap is almost non-existent when this thing is out here in the heat like this. So this is touching here, and this is touching right up against tight, and when it was in the garage, those gaps were consistent. So I don't know if that's a common thing with these. There's like 3 bolts that can potentially go in this front corner here to hold this down, and same with this side. I don't know if that's why, maybe. But it's expanding too much, it seems like, those fenders. And those are fiberglass, I believe, or carbon fiber. I'm pretty sure they're fiberglass. I don't think they're carbon fiber, to be completely honest, but it seems like they're expanding in the heat or something, and it's closing that hood gap up. But the more exciting part is, here you go, guys. This is what we're going to be doing with the car. So I have 12 cans of white Plastidip. So we're gonna do white Plastidip as a base coat with, I don't know, as many cans as needed, but I have 12 there. And then the top coat is gonna be this. So this is gonna be the color of that car. It is gonna be insane. So it's this highlighter yellow, this blaze, and you're supposed to put it on top of a white base coat so that it pops and looks this fluorescent yellow. It's gonna be super cool. And of course it's Plastidip, so it's temporary. We can peel it off once we're ready to fully paint it, but at least for now, it'll be yellow. It'll still be yellow, but it'll be a ridiculous color yellow. But what I'm gonna do first, right now, is I'm gonna wash it down, and I also wanna wash underneath the hood. So before we get Plastidip, I know Plastidip doesn't like certain chemicals, but I wanna degrease under the engine, or in the engine bay, because it's pretty dirty in there. So I'm gonna go ahead, get the pressure washer set up, and we'll degrease that engine bay before we pull it in, and maybe we'll start sanding and prepping some of the areas, since it still needs some sanding and prep work before we can actually start this. I don't know if we'll get to this today, probably not, but let's get some stuff cleaned up. So first things first, I took off that stock filter, and I'm gonna show you guys hopefully by the end of the video what we're gonna be putting and replacing the stock air box with. So I do have something else in store for you guys on that one, and it's gonna be pretty cool. But I have the filter removed. It's sitting over there on the ground. Have it covered off. I'm gonna wash this first since there's some junk in there, and then once I finish washing this, I'm probably gonna remove this, and I'll bag off the actual throttle body so I can wash underneath this whole janky thing, because there's a bunch of dirt hiding underneath there as well. So anyways, I got my pressure washer set up here. We got some simple green, or not simple green, we'll probably use that Castrol super clean Castrol super clean on that, and let's get to it. So like I was mentioning, we'll remove the stock intake, we'll move the bag up to the throttle body, and this is all the gunk underneath that I was saying that I wanted to clean out, because that stock intake isn't going to be on. We might actually switch it today depending on how far we get, but that stock intake isn't going to be on, so I want to clean underneath here since we're going to see it. And at the same time, this gives us a lot more access to the engine, so I can spray some super clean all in the engine and make it look a lot better. And then at some point we'll repaint the valve cover as well. So let's go ahead, spray some super clean all in there, and pressure wash the rest of it. So the car is now much cleaner. Everywhere in here is clean. It was a lot dirtier before. I'm sure you guys can remember just how dirty that part was even alone. So we will end up painting the valve cover, like I said, but at least now it's pretty clean. Even down here on the cross member on the subframe, like that was all caked before, and now it's clean. So anyways, I'm gonna pull off this, and I don't think I'm gonna put let me show you the intake I got and the reason why I'm hesitating to put it on. So we ended up getting AEM intake. And the reason why we went with this is it's an AEM cold air intake, but it's for this. This sticker makes it legit that you can actually run it, and pretty much it's just 2 pieces of pipe, but they went through the certification process to make it carb legal. So this sticker makes this thing legit. Like I said, you can go and pretty much get the same thing off eBay for 50 bucks, but unless it has this sticker on it, you can get into a whole can of worms. So I'm missing some clamps and stuff because I got this kit used, of course, and I'm missing some 3-inch hose clamps. They have this little dinky filter on the end of it, and I'm going to upgrade it, but for now I guess it'll do its job, but I'm missing the clamp, so that's what's preventing me from putting it on right now. So for now I'm probably just going to shove that back on until I go to the store to pick up those clamps, because I don't think I'm gonna make it there today. So let me pull the bag off, throw the stock intake on, but we will end up doing a video with that, and of course that thing's gonna sound way better on there than this stock airbox. So we've got the car back in the garage. Under the engine is now clean. And what I am gonna do right now is try to attack some of these areas. I don't know how many areas I'll be able to get to today in today's video, but this here, I don't think this is factory honestly, but it looks like the paint and maybe whatever bondo or something of that nature was here is obviously leaving the building. So I'm gonna have to take this down. I'm gonna sand it all wherever it looks cracked. I'll try to remove as much as possible. And then we're gonna have to fix it as necessary. So like this here, we're definitely gonna have to take that off. And again, I don't know if this is factory. I'm guessing it's factory, probably factory, but for whatever reason, it is just not sticking around. So I'm gonna have to remove all of this, get this all smooth. So I'll take that off. That's one part. I do wanna sand these smoother. Somebody put some primer on it, but the primer on it's pretty ugly. So I wanna try and get these a little bit prepped a little bit better. As far as everything else, not too bad here. We do also have to I gotta sand this down a little bit more, and I have to put some bondo here and get this all kind of slicked in here. Some of the factory paint here is kind of chipping, but if we're gonna go over this with plastic, this probably won't matter so much, but definitely this has to be addressed. So that's pretty much it for the back bumper. The rest of it's not too bad, honestly. Working our way around. I also have to sand this down. I never finally got to sanding this primer, so we'll remove this, sand this. We got a lot of work to do. I don't know how much we'll get done, but let's tackle it. Use some of our wax and grease remover before we put some bondo on. And I'm not gonna put any bondo here, I was just sanding this down, but definitely gonna be putting bondo here. So you can see here it's a lot smoother before because we had that kind of lip. And it's all sanded down now. I don't think it's on, it looks pretty good. I don't think we're gonna have to use a whole lot of bondo now, to be quite honest. Maybe there's a little dip here, but really not a big deal. I might have sand in here and just put a tiny bit there, but for the most part, and this tiny little crack that we repaired, if you guys remember in the last video, where we fixed the bumper. But I'm gonna go ahead, I'll probably sand it out a bit more there so we can fix that tiny little dent, but this is lined up real nice now, so shouldn't take too much to get this all looking how it should. So let's go ahead and we'll mix up some bondo. So we're getting closer. I just had to put one more coat on here. I'm still getting used to using this bondo stuff and trying to get it smooth, but it dried pretty quickly with the heat here. And there was a couple of spots where I really wanted to build it up, so I just kind of, as it was getting a little bit thicker to work with, I just kind of added it there, so that's why you can see it looks pretty rough. And doing this way takes more sanding, of course, but it's coming up pretty decent. That big ridge is gone at least. So while that dries up on that second coat, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this fender flare and start sanding some of this, because this we left high. As you can see, there's a buildup, so you can see this kind of gap here. Hopefully you can see this, and then it touches here. So we're gonna have to sand this, get this closer, and I don't think that should be too much. There is a faint body line here, so I'm kind of gonna sand there, and try to leave this line. But we'll try to get that close while the other side dries. Just rotating through a bunch of bunch of different parts in the car. Let me show you this in just a second, but I'll show you where we're at with everything else. This, I've got it pretty well shaped up, as best as we could with that beat up panel to my ability for now and what I'm happy with, because again, a lot of this is gonna get covered. So I had to raise up some sections here, but we left this line intact that you can kind of see here, and it's very faint on this car, but it just has a gentle body line that comes through here that matches into there. And that's it for that. I gotta do a little bit more smoothing out, but not too much. Over here, we're pretty well good, you guys. So that is how that came out, and I gotta put a little bit of primer on that, of course, but it looks a little bit different in the camera than what I'm actually seeing in person, but we recreated this body line here. Also, it did have this kind of, don't mind the scratch, but there is actually a body line that comes through here. And we kind of recreated that, and it fades away into the corner here. But that I'm pretty happy with, but check this out. So you guys saw me sanding a bunch of this junk out of here, and this bumper has been repaired before, and it looked pretty wonky all through here. And you guys saw all the cracks that were in the paint, and it was actually a lot of junk in here. So you guys see this little line here? I've been sanding just tons of junk out of here. This is all cracked like you guys saw in lifting. And I probably should have looked on the back before, but I got this bumper for like 60 bucks, so I'm not mad. But see this little piece of junk here? So this is wire. Somebody drilled 4 holes and put wire through to hold, like kind of stitch it. And then they went on this side and filled it with just a ton of mud. Ice cream truck is coming, but we'll continue. So that line is actually the wire coming through, and then they built this all with mud. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the wire from the back, and we'll dig this out, and we'll use some of that fiberglass patch instead. Okay, so here's the aftermath of digging that all out like I was mentioning. So we had 4 holes drilled and that chicken wire through, and here's the actual crack. So we're gonna fix this properly so we don't have all this built up. You can see the original paint way down there. That's original silver. So they had this built up quite a bit because it kind of did look a little bit wonky around the headlight, but go ahead and sand the rest of this crap out. Okay, so I think we've covered quite a bit in this video, you guys. We got a bunch of this filled, so now this is corrected the right way. It's strong. We got some bondo in there to fill in the gap, and on the back here you can see we have all of that bondo hair in there holding everything. Same thing over here. There was a tiny bit of stress there. I reinforced it just ever so slightly up in here. Pretty messy, but you never see it, so whatever. We'll probably end up getting a better bumper at some point, but this will definitely do for now. And just a couple other small spots that I ended up correcting. So I waxed and grease removed it, but I'm not gonna paint it in this video. I'm actually gonna wrap it up and wrap up the day. This over here is pretty good too. We're gonna have to hit everything, and I've just been kind of doing it right now with I think it's 220 or 240 grit, because we can't paint primer over top of the 80. Yeah, so I'm actually using 220 right now. So 220 over top of all of our bondo work. I've already done this part here with 220. It's ready for primer, and honestly it looks really good. Once we hit that with primer, I guarantee you're not even gonna see any of that stuff. So probably in the morning, I'm gonna hit everything with primer, and we'll be able to, I don't know, my goal is for tomorrow to be able to wrap everything up and then hopefully hit it with some Plastidip. I also did some small touch-ups here, and I'm gonna have to hit these with primer because I don't want the Plastidip to adhere to some of my bondo work around there. So lots of stuff going on, still a lot to go, but I'm trying to motor along as much as possible. And honestly, some of the stuff, I'm not gonna get it 100% or try to get it 100% perfect right now just for the Plastidip paint job, because I really just wanna get it together and go have some fun with it. And we can get, I don't know, if we decide to go for like a show car later, once we peel off the Plastidip, then we can, you know, get better with some of these dents and stuff like that. But for now, it's gonna look great. All right, guys, so thanks so much for watching. Hope you did like this video. I know it's been a while, and I've just been super busy, honestly. But I promise we're gonna be getting cracking on this thing. We got the intake going on, picking up wheels this week, picking up suspension this week. And my goal is to be on the track within either next weekend or the weekend after. Like, for sure, this thing is gonna be ready to go. So that's the plan. Like I said, tomorrow I'm gonna try and do the Plastidip paint job. Also gonna be doing the review on that intake. I know it's nothing crazy, but I'm gonna do it before and after just for fun since we got it. Lots of stuff on the way, guys. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Got a ton on the way, I promise. And we'll see you on the next video. Take care.